Hello again, everyone. Edwin Learnard back once again. In this YouTube astrological segment, I'm going to be talking about Eros in Scorpio in a natal chart. Now, Eros in astrology can be connected with the kind of energy that we may have a very powerful, nearly unconquerable sexual attraction to. And given that this is in Scorpio, this could be where one might be very strongly attracted to a person that's very exceptionally mysterious, resourceful, person that's very deep and provocative. It could be too that somebody that you might feel a strong sexual attraction to somebody that's very secretive, very resilient, has the ability to bounce back from adversity, a strong-willed person, a person that is actually very sexual. We are talking about Scorpio, of course, but a person that's very incisive and passionate as well. Uh, and also, too, given again that this is in Scorpio, you might feel very enticed and very infatuated with somebody that also has a very strong will and an indomitable spirit. And Scorpio can be very action oriented as well, so that is another thing that might draw you in to somebody on a very powerful sexual level. Now, this could be it could be a Scorpio sun, moon, or ascendant person, or it might simply be somebody that embodies a Scorpio characteristics. I mean, let's say if you let's say that this makes a conjunction to one's sun in Scorpio in synastry, and you have Eros in Scorpio and it conjuncts the other person's sun, you might be connected strongly to the person's the basic character, the physical body to some degree, but not as intense as the ascendant, because the ascendant is what dominates the physical appearance, the physical body. Now, if it is the ascendant, you might be very attracted to really the physical body, the outward appearance, and the characteristics that are being projected very outwardly and that are expressed very naturally. You might be, I mean, the person might have a very strong, very imposing, powerful type look and countenance. If it's a Scorpio ascendant that you're connecting with. Person, I mean, that is very penetrating gaze, and just basically the Scorpio appearance just in general. I mean, there could be I mean, again, the Scorpio. There's something about Scorpio energy that can be very powerful anyway. So uh, the thing about this too, you're looking at this, and again, if it's the moon that you have Eros in Scorpio and it conjuncts another person's moon in Scorpio, well, you may very strongly be connected on to this person on an unconscious, more of an unconscious or subconscious level. So anyway, well, and also, I want to go back to the Scorpio rising with the appearance. It might be something with the features with Scorpio rising can often be very pliable, and there could just be something again with the penetrating gaze that could be that to you you're very attracted to, whether it's the Scorpio rising appearance with a cubical forehead, the deep set eyes, often a broad jawline, often a dark complexion, but you understand what I'm saying. Next thing up is also Eros in astrology can be about I mean, it's really, Eros in astrology could be very extreme. It can be about somebody, a type of person astrologically we might be very infatuated and enamored with, but it could also reflect in some cases energy that we may be exceptionally turned off by, rebuffed by, and we might flat out repudiate or reject. And a lot of this, of course, can be predicated and dependent on well, other elements in the chart. Like, say, if you have the sun, moon, or ascendant in Gemini, you may be looking more for a superficial, lighter connection. But Eros and Scorpio, but when you're talking about the Scorpio energy, it could show that on a sexual level, you might be attracted to somebody more provocative or deep, and even if you're attracted on a sexual level, you may be incompatible in other ways. Again, like, say, for example, if your sun, moon, or ascendant was in Gemini, and Gemini energy, of course, could be rather loquacious, and Scorpio could be very very secretive and more reticent. So, and demeanor can be quieter. So anyway, but and again, going back to the, I mean, the energy that might actually turn you off, or you might be rebuffed by, could be like the negative characteristics of Scorpio, such as being overly probing, or maybe which could be seen as a negative, where it might be positive if you're actually seen in a positive light, but also the incisiveness or the causticness as well. And Scorpio also can, energy can be very surreptitious and a little bit very sneaky as well. And these can be the qualities in somebody you might just flat out repudiate or reject. And also too, it could also be some other qualities or characteristics associated with Scorpio energy that you might be rebuffed by. It could also be the secluded energy of Scorpio, the reclusiveness, even just the overly mysterious type of energy that Scorpio may have, and also the emotional intensity. I mean, say if you have an Aquarius sun, moon, or ascendant, you may be somebody more that's just very amiable and more friendship and trying to be like that universal friend, and trying to solve things in a very objective, more rational type, and being more objective and rational, and not really be so much on the emotional level. But and also Aquarius can be emotionally detached, and you're talking about Scorpio energy, which could be very emotionally intense. There could be a conflict there. But anyway, now, also, Eros in astrology can be connected with what one may have a very powerful exuberance or enthusiasm for. Now, this could be various, just Scorpio, things in general, like locksmithing, or we're doing something with astrology, working with the occult, the supernatural, which of course can include astrology, doing something like with surgery. Um, it could even, like, say if you have this in the fifth house, you may be playing, like, for example, like the Operation game that many of you may have heard about. It's just something where in some way you might have an enthusiasm or exuberance for and express a strong passion for. It could be recycling or investigation, whether it might be forensics or anything else connected with investigating, just transformation in general. I mean, if this is like, say if you have this in the first house, you might be very enamored and infatuated with making the transformation of the physical body and becoming stronger through working out vigorously, and even matters connected with psychology as well. And say if you have this in the second or the sixth or the 10th house, this could really reinforce some energy that might be connected with one's career. You might apply this enthusiasm or exuberance toward one of these things I mentioned in a career related matter. Now, also, let's say, I mean, Eros in astrology can also be associated with one's creative energy and ability. Now, going back to some of the examples I described before and what one may have an exuberance or enthusiasm for, it could be something where you might express creative energy or ability in astrology, or the occult or supernatural. It could be through mystery writing. Say if you have this like in the third house, or you have this conjunct Mercury, or even a sextile or trine to your natal Mercury, it might show a strong affinity for some kind of mystery or crime writing, or even writing about the astrology, occult, or supernatural. This could also be some creative energy in connection with investigation, or it might be through the matters of transforming. If you're somebody that is like into sculpting, for example, or recycling, you might be somebody that takes material like this and really makes things, objects that are done very creatively. Now, and also even through problem solving, as well, or even through really mechanical skill. I mean, this could be like the person that doesn't have the coil spring compressor, that uses the hammer and screwdriver to put the coil spring back in the car, or get it out, or what have you. So those are some, I mean, say if that's in the third house, for example, because third house is local transportation, including vehicles. So anyway, well, I'll talk about, I mean, as far as like aspects may go, say if this is making as an example, let's say that you have Eros and Scorpio in your natal chart. Hold on a moment, people. Sorry about that, I'm back. Let's say this makes um, an adverse aspect to your natal Saturn. This could be a person that may, well, it could be where the father or authority figures may oppose some of the things that may be associated with what you have in a strong exuberance or enthusiasm for, like the things I just mentioned, those Scorpio related things such as astrology, the occult, supernatural. It may be something of that nature, or it could simply be that career related matters or responsibilities could oppose or even conflict with doing something that you really have that strong passion for, such as psychology or astrology, or some kind of working with some kind of investigation, or anything that could be Scorpio related. So, and let's take another example. Let's say, for example, that you have this making, um, uh, let's say, an adverse aspect to your natal Uranus. This could be more intermittent energy with the things that I was describing, as far as the creative energy and ability and the exuberance and enthusiasm for things that are associated with Eros and Scorpio. Anyway, people, that'll conclude this YouTube astrological segment. Until next time, people, Edwin Learnard saying stay well.